Back to the read-only screen. So I was invited to this program with some other names, and we watched them. We watched them on some sort of super algorithm. Every single election machine was tied to this device that we were watching this on, and this is countrywide. So up top there were tabs, almost like there would be tabs on your internet browser. So on the screen that we were watching, we had one for each state. Whoever the controller was of this program, there was a mouse moving around. You could see the cursor moving around. When the mouse clicked, it would light up like a bright, not a bright, but a red flash type thing to indicate there was a click, so your eyes would go there. This program was tied in to every single election result coming in real time. I nearly shit my pants. I could not believe what I was seeing. Somebody hooked up this program to every election machine across the country. And as the votes were being tabulated in the tabulators, they would go to this program. And I sat there and I watched it all night long. That's not the best part about this program, because if that were it, you could say, oh, so what? CNN or Fox or NBC, they all have those things on their websites as well. You can see the votes come in. Why are you any special, Phil? Hold on. This program, a certain batch of votes that were coming in was out of the ordinary. The tabs up top that had the different states would flash. It would go from like gray to blue, gray to dark, like a light gray to a lighter blue, and it would just keep flashing. So then the operator, whoever was controlling the screen, would go up to that state and click it. And what you would see on that state were all the counties in the states that were being reported, all the votes that were coming in, but then there was a yellow area. And the yellow area of the county, of the vote dump, would tell you that something's going on there that's out of the ordinary. For example, boy, was I tired when this started happening. This was like, because I was on the East Coast at the time. Right now I'm in Arizona, but I was in PA on Tuesday. And Arizona started coming in late in the night because they're on the West Coast. Arizona starts blinking. Operator goes to Arizona, goes down to, I can't remember what county it was, but it was the gubernatorial race between Kari Lake and Katie Hobbs. Katie Hobbs got the same exact correlation of votes, the same exact ratio of votes in 4 different drops, and they weren't successive drops. So a drop is when they tabulate the votes and they press send and it goes through. Okay? What I'm talking about is, let's say there's 4 different drops, one at 8 p.m., one at 10:21 p.m., one at 11:30 p.m., and another one at 2 a.m. Let's say each of them had 10,000 votes in them. Bad numbers, but I'm just doing an example. In each of those 10,000 vote drops, it was the same ratio of votes from Hobbs to Kari Lake. So let's say out of the 10,000 vote drops in each of those 4 different time periods, Katie Hobbs got 8,100. That would leave Kari Lake with 1,900, right? And then the next drop, let's use a different number other than 10,000 total. Let's use 20,000. In the second drop of the 20,000 votes, it would be the same ratio. So if it was 8,100 to 1,900, the next one would be 16,200 to 3,800. They're using the same percentage. They're using the same ratio. So when a vote goes through one of those machines, one of those tabulators, they're switching it to a designed, and when I say they, I'm talking about the cabal, whoever the cheaters are that are running this, that's what they're doing. They're taking those actual votes that are coming from actual citizens, and they're manipulating them to fit whatever algorithm they want to fit. This is exactly what happened in 2020 to Donald Trump. And that's not the only thing that, oh, and by the way, before I get off the Arizona thing, that happened 4 times. And they're smart. They didn't do it successive. They didn't do it all in order. So it wasn't 4 straight drops of votes. They put one here early on in the night, and then a couple other drops, and there was no correlation with those at all. So nothing lit up yellow, nothing blinked. And then a few drops later, another one will come in with the same ratio of that first one. That's when the algorithm that this military, whatever the heck we were watching was, that's when the algorithm started blinking. It recognized that it was the same percentage that Hobbs got versus Lake got in one of the previous drops. And then it happened again a 3rd time. And then it happened again a 4th time. Each batch of those votes were a different number of votes, but it had the same exact ratio. Those drops, those particular drops of votes that were coming in real time to this device that we were watching, those drops were pre-programmed votes to an algorithm that told the machines what to populate. So for example, let's say you're going to enter a batch of 35,000 votes, right? The tabulator machine, which was a Dominion machine most likely, whoever is in control of that Dominion machine, whoever is committing this election fraud, that tabulator machine is told, okay, of that 35,000 votes, 65% of them need to go to Katie Hobbs. And the rest, spread out according to this ratio system, according to this algorithm. So it doesn't matter what's actually on the votes. What matters is the algorithm that you put into the machine. That was just one example. The Herschel Walker and Raphael Warnock election in Georgia is way worse. And that's not the only thing that this program we were watching did. It didn't just look for ratio of votes. It looked for numerous irregularities. Meaning, here's another one, for example. In one of the states, I want to say it was Pennsylvania. I don't know if it was Oz and Fetterman or, man, I can't remember. But regardless, in another one of the states, after vote totals were coming in, they would have a total on them. So let's say, just for example, Fetterman was at 300,000 votes, right? And Oz was at 280,000 votes. Now, these are coming in real time. And the only way that they could go is up. You can't have a negative vote. Somebody can't go to a poll and say, well, I'm going to negative vote Oz. You could vote for Fetterman and not vote for Oz, but you can't downvote Oz, right? Unless I missed something in like voting 101. These would keep going up. The totals would keep going up with each of those batches that I said. But this program that we were watching would flash, and we'd get a yellow alert that a certain candidate's votes would go down. So with a new batch, should introduce more votes, but their votes got deducted. Same thing we saw in 2020. Absolutely no different than what we saw in 2020. The difference is, in 2020, we saw it happen on the TV. We were actually seeing live, it happened on there. They fixed that this time. There was none of that. We still saw the lines go up in the batches and all that kind of stuff. And that's still, something that I don't, they could just say, oh, well, that's when we dropped the batch in. That's why you're seeing that line go up that way. But we saw real time votes go down in 2020. We didn't see that in 22 midterms. Not as far as I know anyway. This was happening all night long. And lo and behold, every single time it happened, it was a Republican candidate that lost votes. Never a Democrat the whole night long. Those are just 2 examples of what we caught them. We caught them and I watched it. I watched it real time. I saw it go down. There was cheating across the entire country in almost every race. Those alerts were popping up like you would not believe. Hats off to whoever put that program together.